Welcome to the Human Experience Podcast, the only podcast designed to fuse your left and right brain hemispheres and feed it the most entertaining and mentally engaging topics on the planet. As we approach our ascent, please make sure your frontal, temporal and occipital lobes are in their full upright position. As you take your seat of consciousness, relax your senses and allow us to take you on a journey. We are the Intimate Strangers. Thank you for listening.
What's up, folks? Xavier Katana here with yet another home run episode. This is our conversation with Mr. Wim Hof. Just to give you guys the atmosphere for this conversation, it was conducted in Wim's hotel room. When we walked in, he's wearing a towel. He has his feet in a bucket of ice. So truly a classic setting to conduct a face-to-face interview. This was a 6-month-long process of coordinating and schedules, but truly worth it. We get deep in this conversation. We talk about the pharmaceutical industry. We talk about how Western medicine has betrayed humanity. We get into spiritual warfare. We talk about how to reconnect with yourself and nature. This episode is full of information. In the middle of our talk, Wim shares a very personal, hard-hitting experience that happened to him and his family. It was heartbreaking to hear about, but for him to open up to us on that level is what we live for in these interviews. That's what makes everything worth it, to have someone you've never encountered before completely open up to you. If you guys like what you hear, get to thehumanxp.com/donate. We currently survive through listener support. Buy us dinner, lunch, or a coffee. Make sure that you get to our Twitter feed, Facebook page, and YouTube channel, all at thehumanxp. Thank you guys so much for listening. We are sitting with the legendary Mr. Wim Hof. Wim, thank you so much for doing this, sir.
Yeah, right on. Okay, nice of you to invite me. Human experience, as I heard.
Yes,
Great.
sir. So I actually really just want to know, what does it feel like? We are at the longevity conference. You're about to speak. You're sitting. I just want to describe to anyone listening. Wim is in a towel and he has his feet in a bucket of ice. So Wim, you're very much living up to the Wim Hof tradition. How does it feel to be speaking in 2 hours to a record-sized crowd, 4,000, 5,000 people? How does it feel?
Oh, I didn't know as much as you say, like numbers like 4,000 or 5,000 people. I didn't know that. Now I'm scared. The thing is, what I do, I believe in. And it is scientifically proven. And we are about to embark in studies revealing human potential to the fullest, and it's coming. And I'm very excited about all this, yet also a little bit frustrated because why does it take so long? As we discovered this already 2.5 years ago, and published it in the best of magazines in the world for the first time in scientific history, showing that the autonomic nervous system related to the immune system as well as the endocrine system can be influenced in a very short period of time, like a couple of days, maybe in like 10 minutes.
So Wim, yes, we'll get to that point. So, I mean, for the people who are listening that may not know who you are and what you do, can you describe briefly what is the Wim Hof method?
Method came about after, say, 35 years of practice and experiences in nature. I challenged my body. I felt at the beginning like a soul search. I was looking for a deeper meaning of life, and I couldn't find it in society. It's too profane, too not appealing to my deeper sense of what I was looking for. So you go in a soul search, and I visited a lot of traditions, disciplines, and esoteric disciplines, traditions, cultures, languages, philosophies, Buddhism, Hinduism,
Right.
Religions, and yet the connection which I was longing for, feeling within myself as a missing link, I found when I got into the ice water. And ice water is a natural element. It's temperature. It's an impact on the body. And suddenly, if you're just ripe enough to go in, and it's igniting a deeper power within, which is a natural power, and it has been awakened. And then from, I was like 18 years or 17, 18 years.
Yeah.
Is when it all began. And from there, I saw naturally that we are able to do so much more than as we think possible.
I love that. Can we talk more about that? I mean, what is something that we are able to do that maybe traditional science or medicine teaches us that we can't? Like, what is something that you have found through your work and exploring consciousness and different religions? What did you find that the human body is capable of?
As I was talking about philosophies, traditions, cultures, disciplines, but also spirituality, like religion, I came up with the key to go in as deep as nature meant it to be inside of ourselves, proving what never has been proven in scientific history up till now, that we are able to go not only into the autonomic nervous system, which is outside of our will, but not now anymore, but also the subconscious. And for that, normally you had to train like a yogi for years and years and seclude yourself back in a cave and be esoteric into secret disciplines or Christian mysticism and all that.
Yeah.
And then now it is just being done in a couple of days. Hey, what's happening? So that's there is no secret anymore. And also the Buddhists right now, they give away, they opened up, and their deepest of secrets within the doctrines of of Buddhism, they hand it over. It's opening up. I will and possibly I will meet the Dalai Lama very soon. Now it's being organized. I get the representatives going, but it's not of real interest. To me, real interest is being done by proving scientifically that we all are able to tap in to our physiology, enabling us to experience much more spirituality, physiological depth related to, say, health, strength, happiness, which is a hormonal issue.
Yeah.
And we are all able to tap into those systems of ours much more. Not only that, now comes the interesting part, the expanding the consciousness, the spirituality. Ata yoga anusasanam yoga citta vritti nirodha tadadrastva svarpevastanam is Patanjali 1200 years ago telling us, hey, yoga, that's the union of the little soul and the big soul. That's the Jivatma, Paramatma. I was reading about all this, but hey, it doesn't make sense. What is this? What is that? And now they see it's expanding consciousness. And expanding consciousness is actually going consciously into the brain and fusing all the by neurons and neurotransmitters, synapses, into all the parts of our brain, creating the right brain waves like gamma, theta, delta. And we have shown this, that it doesn't take hours of meditation or years of meditation to get a sense of going deeper into the brain. We are now able not only to go deeper into our brain and show it. That's what we do with the Stanford University. So non-speculative is my way of showing it.
Right.
It's not a matter of belief anymore. It's our data. And from data, we will learn to look different to reality and have a sort of a paradigm shift, like think different. Oh, that's possible. So then it gets subconsciously into ourselves and we learn to be different, because in the end, it's the mind over the matter. But we lost this belief. We lost this contact, this connection, and now we are bringing this back. So the most interesting part for me is only about to begin to show that expanding consciousness is possible. Creating new neurological pathways in the brain, doing it with the best of universities and neurobiologists, showing that we can get rid of fear, trauma, PTSD, depression, or anything like that. We have the ability as mammals, even as humans, mammalian physiology plus neocortex, the very fast neurological pathways going on, creating cultures, buildings like this Hilton Hotel, and skyscrapers and bridges and shooting people to Mars and all that, but not being able to get in our health, happiness, and strength. That's poor. And not only that one, but also the spirituality, the abstract spirituality, believing, feeling here right now that we are able to create new neurological pathways leading up to wonder every day, which is a natural feeling, a natural state of the mind to see the wonder every day, which is expanding consciousness, which is creating consciously new neurological pathways. I'm into that right now, because the rest we already have proven that it is not yet really coming top down. So implemented, so everybody is able to understand. It is already a fact that we are able to tap into the autonomic nervous system, endocrine systems. Endocrine is hormonal. So what is happiness? Those are hormones.
Right.
What is strength? Those are hormones. What is health? That's the immune system.
Yeah.
And we have shown with thousands of data, non-speculatively, that we are able to tap in to those systems far more than ever thought possible scientifically. And now it is science. But from there, we go into this abstract thing called the spirituality. And really, we will take these abstract things because nobody knows where is the fear, how to deal with trauma,
right,
how to deal with emotion. We don't know. No, we alienate it from our feeling. We alienate it from harmony with nature. And the result is now that we are in a sort of a confusion. We can shoot people to the moon, and we cannot even reach in our brain.
So Wim, I mean, you're right. I agree with you 100% that there is this sense of confusion. And this is why meditation and yoga have recently become so culturally phenomenal, because we are, as human beings, we are looking for answers. We are looking for some level of truth. We are looking up for some level of connectivity within ourselves. You've done some really amazing things. Like you're known for the Wim Hof method, which involves breathing exercises and also enduring cold. I think there was what has been the most kind of insane thing that you've done, as far as, the perceptual kind of something that people wouldn't believe that you've been able to do through the methods that you have founded? Yeah,
the thing is, I'm crazy about life, but I'm not an idiot, nor a fool. Maybe sometimes. But, don't take it too serious. We take it on light. But not when you are hanging by one finger at 1.5 kilometer in midwinter in a cold climate, then you need to control, real control, beyond any doubt, beyond any thinking or minding, or go swim and lose the way under the ice because you have no goggles, no experience before. But I felt I could do that, and I did those things far more than anybody thought possible. Or run a marathon without shorts in midwinter by -20, -30 degrees Celsius, and you know, all these things, or climb Mount Everest to the death zone in shorts, and more of those things, like 26 of those world records, Guinness World Records, that attracted, in the end, the scientists, because they saw, but he is doing things that are humanly actually not possible. And he's doing it. Let's test him. So they began to test me, and then they found out, compared to the existent studies, that I was able to counteract on, say, a bacteria being injected and no reaction, or create a stay in warmth in the core for 80 minutes while being in freezing temperatures and just wearing shorts and completely immersed.
Wow. Yeah.
And more of those things. And they took the blood and everything, and it showed that all kinds of things were happening that could lead up, if I was not just the exception, but just an example of how the physiology could go, that it could lead up, if I was able to reproduce this with a test group, to enormous new insights in the capabilities of our human physiology for everybody. And for that, I created a method which is accessible and very effective for everybody. And it consists of 3 limbs, like breathing, cold, gradual cold exposure, and mindset. It showed that me, with my mind only, in front of in the hospital, connected to giving blood and lung meter, heart meter, that I was able, without moving, just by my thought, going in for 80 minutes, to raise metabolic activity within the cell with 300%. That's our mind. That's the placebo. No, that's our mind. Now, everybody has this, but everybody lost the belief to use that, the belief, the direction. So right now we are proving this by neurobiology, neuroscientists, neuroscience, immunology, intensive care, nuclear science, even with NASA. So it's no longer mambo jumbo. It's not longer hocus pocus. It's the magic of our physiology, and bringing it back as common sense to every person in the world. And how I use you as a window. Because what I found, it's not only belief, it's what we are. I found out in nature, heart nature, which is just merciless but righteous. I found out the right way, the way nature meant it to be, not the way we thought it should happen, and how it is systemized and how it is sodomized, like full industries parasiting on our being diseased. We are just the clients of that whole industry. They don't want us to become
Aware
of, not only aware, they don't want us healthy. They want to take away the symptoms, but not the cause. Yeah. So
it's truly revolutionary what you've been able to do, and you're at speaking events such as this, and you're teaching people now how to find within themselves the window to health and the connection with nature that they have inherently, that we all have inherently. Is there one specific moment there must have been a point in your life where what caused you to go in this direction, to look for something. Were you seeking answers? What were you looking for?
I think it was, in yoga they call it karma. You can call it destiny. But what is that? It has been caused maybe genetically to come about, like not being righteous in the past life, or somebody passed it on genetically and something happened. And it happened with me when I was born. I was born almost suffocated because they didn't know I'm part of a identical twin. So they didn't know there was a second one. I was the second one. And so I was born too late in a cold hallway, almost suffocated.
Wow.
So I survived over there. And it gave me, because I had no reference of mind as a baby, but you get a psychic imprint. And that changed me in the course of my life, becoming a seeker, not being like my identical twin brother, just normal. So anybody who is just taking up this seeking into the depth, or finding out, or awakening the depth, because now it is a fact, is able to get there. And my brother is not my twin brother. My identical twin brother is not able to do what I do, because he wasn't into that. He lives like everybody. So, and then now he is taking up and he is teaching people as well, but not as good as I am, of course. Hey. No shit. Just no speculation. I'm an investigator. I felt there was more. I had to come to those with that at terms. And so I became a seeker. I visited all kinds of disciplines, cultures, like I said already before.
Yeah.
And I found out the cold water. Yeah, that was like my the time when I was born was cold. I had to survive. You could become very sensitive if you have no oxygen inside. And you survive, you get into this different modus. And I was looking for that. And I felt it. I made contact with that traumatic experience within my psychic body, which is the electrical body, nervous system. It's a nervous system thing. Yeah?
Right.
And once I got into this cold, I really became aware. I felt, hey, this feels good. No, this made contact with my traumatic experience. And now I had the ability to go into that consciously. So that is feeling good, is connection. That made me strong. That made me able to have control within myself with the deepest of the deepest. Going past the thinking, because the thinking had no function at that moment, because no functionality, because it was not there as a baby.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it was just a psychic imprint, and we lost this connection with this deeper part of the brain, which is the reptilian brain, the brain stem. Right now, we are doing all kinds of studies with all kinds of universities, Detroit, San Francisco, Hanover, on the brain stem.
Right.
And it seems to be that we probably have found a way, not probably, we really have found the way to tap into those areas where before, scientifically, we had no idea how to get into that more than, say, medicine.
Do you believe that Western medicine is much, it seems that you're saying that Western medicine
they go too much into symptoms,
much
not the cause.
behind where we can be if we simply tune in to this aspect of ourselves, of connecting to our psychic bodies and connecting to these different ways of healing ourselves? Why, you said it, but where do you see consciousness now? Where do you see the consciousness of the planet?
Yeah, let me use a little metaphor. It's like Western medicines and chemistry and laboratory settings. very fine instruments. They have to go into even the DNA and see how it all works, etc. It's like a beautiful car, and it's driving around. But actually, with a little shortcut, using your 2 legs, you will get home. With what we have, we got plenty to get toward where we should be. But we lost that way. And that's why we use the car. We go all around, but we never feel cured. We never feel at home. And it's going around and around and around. So that's my little metaphor, what I see right now.
It's a great metaphor. Yeah.
The thing is, Western medicine, I'm not against any evolution or any way of the establishment right now of the, say, pharmaceuticals and food industry, but they're actually messing up with our physiology and chemistry.
Absolutely.
And they should be overtaken, and not with a hippie culture, no, with a real culture called science.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's time now.
I know that you're working with Andrew Huberman out of Stanford.
Yeah.
What is some of the work that you're working on with him?
It's coming. So very soon we have all kinds of meetings with very powerful people. And next year we're going to conduct 3 big studies. And I cannot reveal too much about it right now because he is in charge of the scientific itinerary. I just say I'm very excited. He sees the effectiveness and the possible consequences are huge. We are going to make history. That's no doubt. No doubt. And last thing, what I say about him, he says this is most possibly the new way to control the mind in the future for mankind, and no less. So what are we talking about? Hey, that's a big mystery. Oh, spiritual. We don't know. Oh, it's so big. No, it's you. It's little. It's simple. And we bring it back where it belongs, within us, taking away sorrow and unnecessary pain and suffering and going into loops, bang, direct. And how it's going to be manifested? By talks like this. And further on, of course, we will endorse it with science.
With science. Yeah, I absolutely love that you're using that methodology and you're connecting it back to science. It seems that you're very decided on the idea of using science as a vehicle because it seems for the masses and for the public, it's very important to back up the claims with hard data, with information.
You can call it hard data. You can call it hard data. You know, the heart.
Yeah.
It making sense again from the deep, and everybody will understand because it was there all the time. Real knowledge really comes from the heart, but we need to go past this mind thing. For that, we need the heart data.
Yeah.
So,
Wim, you started this early on. I mean, you not just with the method, but you wrote a manifesto on consciousness in the 70s. What was that manifesto called? When you were 23?
I wrote many things, and but I had yoga as a technique, and my first book was about silence, climbing in silence. That was after my wife died, suicided, emotional, and I made a song when I was 17, and it was about try to find yourself in one way or in another. The only thing you can help is your health, that of yours and of others. And then you get these lines of, I remember I was a kid playing down the beach. Didn't worry about a thing. The game was the only thing I reached. And with my bucket and with my spade, I knew castles to make. I was satisfied. I had no problems to hide. I never forget the day again. My childish simplicity walked away. I never forget that day. My childish simplicity walked away. I was standing there, a little man in menswear. Every day the same again for that rotten bargain. Working on that machine, producing nitroglycerine. The stuff who destroys yourself, your only me, your health. That is actually the awakening when I was 17. And I was just alone there. And still a nice song. And maybe it's going to be a hit someday. Who knows? But the thing, the drive I had since I was born. And, if nobody does it, I do it. And after I produced all these results in the university, and it came on television, I thought I was driving my bicycle through Amsterdam, and I saw these images. Hey, it's very easy to kill somebody who found a natural method to go into the autonomic nervous system and the immune system, the hormonal system, in the depth of our physiology, far more than in scientific history has been displayed or published or proven. That will kill not people. I mean, it will make them healthy and give them back their self-control, but will kill a sick industry.
Yeah.
Hey, that could be dangerous, but I'm not going to live in fear. I decided. I just keep on. And now too many people know. So that's my tactics, man.
You seem very strong, and you have a presence that is very real. You have a very raw presence. You don't hold back. It doesn't seem like you ever hold back. And you have this natural sense of being present. Like you're just in the moment. You're present in the moment. You mentioned your wife dying. So, I mean, that must affect your heart, right?
Oh yeah, completely demolished and broken and shattered. And society is sometimes quite senseless. But I had 4 children, and I took care of them, and they gave me all the purpose to continue every day, not to think, but to take care of them. And that really made me survive and be okay. But this awkward feeling of a broken heart, it just was suppressed, but it always had its influence deeply. So by going into ice water and climbing, even without gear, steep walls, like almost risking my life, trying to find a deeper silence than this nagging emotional being. My wife was not there anymore. I had to be there for my children.
Yeah.
So yes, that really was a big lesson, far more than I could swallow or learn of or take on at that moment. It just overtook me, and broken heart is a broken heart, but a broken heart is one. A senseless world is another. So right now, I got out of that valley. Now I'm working with all these children of mine. They are adults. They have been studying, and they are fully commitment in what I do. They believe in it, and they are like children, like any family. We are we were shattered all. But now we are like a new nest, and it's all working together. Very good chemistry. I learned of all these things. Maybe it's karma again, because I didn't understand why. Why? And that why now turned into, hey, if I got now the knowledge to take away what made my wife suicide, which is schizophrenia, mental disease, disease of the brain, infection, inflammation. then I'm going to prove that we all are able to cure of those diseases. Terrible. Not being in control of yourself is horrible. And she was a sweet mother, beautiful woman, very intelligent, heightened awareness, and then this devil inside, this non-controlled being, neurology completely gone, that makes you. She didn't just decide to go and jump from an 8th floor. There was a whole lot behind that. And now I'm about to prove neurologically that we are able to counteract on this. Because at that time, nobody had any idea. And I suffered therefrom. So it made me into an investigator.
Mm-hmm.
And I went into nature. I found my silence. And I will silence all those scientists who think you cannot do anything about this. And this is the way. And we have to take medicines and kill the symptoms. We don't know the cause. Fuck them. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. There is no right for unnecessary suffering in this world. And as we are able to take it away, and whole industries are just blocking this, that's not only no evolution, it's murder.
Yeah.
And we are, if we are able to do that, we have to tackle them. And we have to do this together. We got to do this together. We are beings of light. Let's be like light and speed up.
Wim, I'm very curious to know your opinion on a very touching story, by the way. Your wife dying. Thank you. Appreciate you sharing that with us. I want to know your opinion on the usage of psychedelics. There are organizations such as MAPS and the Hefter Institute that are using psychedelic drugs like MDMA, LSD to help heal PTSD and other issues that people face. What is your opinion about the usage of these compounds in a clinical setting?
Yes, I'm doing study together. We are going to do part number 2 of the spirit molecule.
Oh,
together with
Rick Strassman.
Yeah, Rick Strassman and me. We had some controversial male traffic going on. He thinks that you need an endogenous, exogenous trigger, a trigger from outside,
right,
to create, say, DMT.
Yeah.
And I say, no, it's endogenous. It's already inside. You just there is a formula, and the formula is melatonin minus CO2 makes DMT. But you got to know how to do that. This is with these breathing exercises. And I want to show that first by taking away, say, trauma, PTSD, depression, all what you said, for what they take MDMA, psychedelics like LSD and ayahuasca and
right,
more of those.
Yeah.
And I will show that we are able to regain a sense of control for those who are suffering from those conditions, mental conditions. So they are good. Some of these drugs are hormonal triggers for those who have, say, terminal cancer or a really deep psychosis and all that, and they are in this loop, neurological loops inside. It breaks it. It just shatters through, and then they have a sense of relief. And but what we do is still, I'm into the studies now, and they will show that there are different ways without drugs to deal with these mental loops, such as psychosis, depression, PTSD, fear, anxiety, and all that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, now my opinion, anything that works, hey, okay, man. But if we can do it by ourselves and it works, even better.
Yeah, I think that if we're able to naturally do this using techniques like breathing, effective breathing, and reconnecting with nature, why not? Why not use what's in ourselves already to help heal ourselves, right? So, for someone that's maybe listening to us speaking right now, what is something that they can do, apply to their lives directly to help them? Maybe someone who's suffering, struggling with depression or anxiety or fear, or there's something going on with them. What would be one piece of advice that you could give them that would help them, cope with that?
There's a right and a left side in our brain. The left side is more rational, and the right side is more feeling, irrational. The right side is more the one who implements inside of our psyche, in our subconscious, and the left side is taking it rational. Now, I can tell you guys, learn to see rationally that we are able to tap into our physiology, unknown, deep, and have been proven that in scientific realms, community. So we are able to do that. You are able to do that. We are made to be able to cleanse our psyche, our neurology, immune system, anything. Our brain, our heart, our organs, anything. And it's related to the autonomic nervous system, as they, and it's outside of our will, as they said, and it's no longer that. That creates a belief. A belief, hey, that's possible. So it is not possible, it is possible. Then it gets into the right hemisphere of the brain, which is the implementation, the subconscious. And there you will change, only by believing already. Then use breathing. Breathing makes the neurotransmitters, the neurons, the neurology, way better. And we can do this. We can become alkaline anytime, like in 10 minutes. And you can prove that with these little papers, pH papers.
Yeah.
They do it for the swimming pool, You can piss on it and have a before proof.
Yeah.
Hey, acidic. And then you begin to do the breathing. And we got a free course for that on the innerfire.nl.
Mm-hmm.
Just look at it and you find out and prove it to yourself that you are able to become alkaline from being acidic. Before, breathing, go for it. You believe it, you see it, you feel it. And 10 minutes later, again. And then it's alkaline. From yellow to blue. And green is in between, all kinds of shapes. And that makes, and we have just proven this in a complete study with the university, again, reproduced it with 48 people, that we are in the lymphatic system. And that's where all the acidity of our body, accumulated by our stressful lives and all that, is being stored into the chemistry. We are now able to get into that and clean the whole shit.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
So you begin to believe, hey, we are made as nature meant it to become happy, strong, and healthy. That's the hormonal system and the immune system. Okay, that creates that the implementation part, the subconscious part of our being, directed by implementation into the the right hemisphere of our brain, which is related to the subconscious, will make us different in very short period of time, a couple of days. Just begin. You better believe it. that it is so. We are made to become happy, strong, and healthy, like any animal walking down there. If we are depressed or half conscious and not being convinced, it's like not being effective within nature. We are not built to be so. We are built to be alert. We are built to be strong and happy and healthy, just to be effective. That's our mammalian physiology. But our brain is fucking us up, is messing us up with all what we have learned in schools, etc. Now you learned a new thing. We have proven already by science, it's yet not coming top down. It's not really implemented into the masses. Mm-hmm. But we are a full chapter in the university books already. Mm-hmm. And it's about the endocrine systems, the immune system, and the autonomic nervous system. We are built to be able to have a lot more control over the hormonal system and the immune system, or say to become happy, strong, and healthy at will. You better believe it. And then you begin with the breathing. And with the breathing, you are able to take away what is being stored up in acidic state chemistry within the lymphatic system and to clean the body. You clean your house, don't you? Now, clean your body too. You do it with breathing. So then the mind is suddenly into itself, and we are able to go with this breathing, cleansing, and therefore creating the right chemistry in the brain, enabling us subtle to get a neurological control over the brain stem, which is the directory of our primitive urges like endocrine system, immune system, adrenaline, cortisol, endorphin, melatonin, even dimethyltryptamine. It's all there.
It's amazing. It's really, truly.
And that's amazing because life is amazing and we are amazing. And now it's time to wake up to that and come at terms with it.
Wim, do you believe, and I'm going into the fringe a little bit here, but do you believe perhaps that on this planet here on Earth that there may be a war, a spiritual war, why are we fed this propaganda? Why are we fed these systems of control? Why is the pharmaceutical industry set to keep us sick? I mean, why all these systems of control that we face?
Yeah, that's the question. Why is it all there? But I don't think it's interesting anymore. Now it's interesting to get into, are we able to become happy, strong, and healthy at will? Is that interesting, or is it interesting? Why is it that the power structures and the money gaining urges within us make us so depressed, so out of control? They're going with like 6 cars, that makes you more happy, bigger than 1 car or 1 house, and a lot of escort girls and or strippers, etc. The sex and the power and all that. Why is it that we are not experience the depth of ourselves and not being able to express love the way it should and the way nature meant it to be? It's so beautiful all. Because we are disconnected and we are being maintained, manipulated by people who are just applying to primitive urges like power because of their insecurity. Everybody is in the same insecurity. Nobody knows that there is a deeper understanding within us, a deeper power, and we are all victim to the same mass psychological infrastructure called society and so-called civilization. You know how many people are depressed in our so-called high civilized society?
Yeah.
And is that society? Is that civilization?
No.
It's a way down somewhere into hell.
Yeah.
And so much lottery within. Maybe your uncle has cancer. Maybe he's getting dementia. Maybe he's getting rheumatoid arthritis and psychosis and that, and we think it's normal and it's sick. So why it is so? Is it evolution? It could be the power thing, the mind thing. The mind is able to multiply and to duplicate and gain more. More energy over others. And that's being done because of going outside of your brain and not going into it. And we are still in this evolutionary passage where we have to learn to control the mind. You know what the Bhagavad Gita said 2,000 or 5,000 years ago already? Very simple. A mind not under control is your worst enemy. And in control is your best friend. So we are still into that. Now we are able to shoot people to the moon. It's time that we shoot ourselves. Oh, shoot. I go for my happiness, preferably. My health and my strength. And be able, as a mother, to guarantee this for our child. If we are able, by university proof, not little time, big time, that every mother actually is able to guarantee health, strength, happiness, or love, that's love, non-sentimental love, then the war will go away, because the war is all based on possession, interests, politics, bollocks, and speculation, and all that. But not about your home, where we should be caring and sharing. And as we are not able to have our security there, we have to prove this by guaranteeing every person scientifically that we are able to tap into the physiology in a way to guarantee for every mother in the world, and that's what every mother wants, the security to guarantee health, strength, and happiness. So we go back to the love. And then that's the most valuable. Then you don't need all these pearls and 10 cars and 6 houses and big buildings. Just have a nest. It's beautiful.
Wow. Wim Hof, my good sir, just what an incredible message and that you're spreading. I admire it and respect it so much. And for you to be gracious enough to allow us into your hotel room and you're about to speak to 4,000 or 5,000 different people. I thank you so much for your time, your presence, the work that you're doing, and your energy and your fire. And I understand now why it's called Inner Fire. Wim, where can people find your website? Where can people go to find more about your work?
Innerfire.nl.
Innerfire.nl.
NL is for the Netherlands. What's in the name? WimHofMethod.com.
WimHofMethod.com.
And there is a free course, and just get into it, because we are into sense, common sense, and a lot of love. I love you guys. Love you.
You guys heard it here. This is Xavier Katana with The Human Experience. Wim, again, thank you so much, sir, for making the time, and your towel and your bucket of ice. I love it, man. We'll see you guys next week.